into that. All right, let's jump right into it, guys.
We have to use what means there are at our disposal. And in my view, and I'm going to put it blank, that is Jewish money. There is an enormous amount of Jewish money in politics.
You know, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is why I kind of like the Jews. I love Jews, but I ain't gonna lie, I love their openness. Like, this is one of the main thing I like about the Jews is their openness. They just say it out loud. Like, dog, have you ever read Israeli media, like the Times of Israel or Haaretz? They just say it out loud, bro. Like, while our media is over here trying to hide and beat around the bush, they just say it outright. Like, they just say it. Like, what you would be called anti-Semitic for reporting, they just report it. It's like, bro, what? I mean, oh man, this is what I gotta love about these people, bro. They're just so open. I mean, outside of the evil ones who want to sit there and kill Arabs and all that, in general, Jewish people are just open people. It's too open sometimes. Oh man, for the good or the bad.
So this is John Podhoretz, who literally took the job that his dad had. They called him.
Hey, shout out my man Mountain Man Axes for sending a thumbs up for thumbs up for 10 jewels. Appreciate the support, my man.
The Keaton was calling him Lucky Boy.
John Podhoretz, yeah.
Yeah. So it's no longer, what do they call that when you what's it called when you inherit
Nepo something?
Yeah.
Nepotism.
But we call him Lucky Boy. And
not in terms of his name or appearance.
No. But he has blocked me on Twitter. He's one of those guys, right? But at least he doesn't tweet about me like Dan Bongino. If you block someone, that's fine. You can block anybody. But if you block them and then tweet about them, that you're a garbage person. Okay.
It's self-defense. Doesn't he have a right to self-defense?
Does he have a right?
It is. I ain't gonna lie, that is a bitch ass move. It's like, how you gonna block the guy and then keep tweeting about him knowing damn well they can't respond to you? You're just about to say whatever you want. That is a bitch ass move, I will admit. Cowardly move. Come on.
So here he is. He's going to talk about the Thomas Massey election. And what everything he says here, he's saying this in defense of Jews, but everything he says here qualifies as anti-Semitism according to the IHRA new rules.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Everything he says here. Here is this guy, John Podhoretz, thinking he's actually... So if you want to know what increases anti-Semitism and actual Jew hate, watch this. Because everything he says here, while being true, will also make people hate them and would be considered anti-Semitic if it wasn't a Jew saying it. So let's listen.
I think it is a good thing if Massey and the people like him and others believe that if you cross the line into anti-Semitism, Jews are going to use the power that we have openly to go for you.
And what is that power exactly? I wonder what that power is. Let's
Something
see.
with the banks and all the media.
The media, the bad. Let's see.
Asthma spray.
Because what other recourse is there? Are we just going to sit here and take it, beg for scraps, hope that nice people are nice to us? The Democratic Party is going explicitly anti.
Okay, of course. Why wouldn't people be nice and helpful with the ones that are demanding all their money and children? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? I rob you, and if you complain, I threaten you, and if you don't acquiesce to demands, I blow up the world. That's what. Come on, that's how reciprocity works. As long as it works for me. Okay, here we go.
Semitic, we can see it happening. People are getting benefits, as Seth says, for being anti-Semites. That seems to be part of an appeal in primaries to the left and the party. We have to use what means there are at our disposal. And in my view, I'm going to put it blank, that is Jewish money. There is an enormous amount of Jewish money in politics, by which I mean...
Okay. But that's exactly what you mean.
Yep.
You mean that Jewish billionaires put their money into politics and control the politics of America. That's what he's saying. He's saying that. If I said that, it would be anti-Semitic.
That they put their Jew money in taking
Yes.
rights away.
Jewish money. There is an enormous amount of Jewish money in politics, by which I mean Jewish donors, wildly disproportionate, not only charitably, but politically. When I say charitably, I mean nobody really knows the numbers. Jews make up 2% of the population. According to some studies, Jews make up 20% of the charitable contributions made in the United States annually. That is a 10.
So, and you're including political donations as charitable. Well, yeah, that is charitable, I guess. It's not like you're you're pouring millions into feeding children or helping the homeless. No, you're just putting millions into buying a politician that will support your agenda in the Middle East. Yeah, that's real charitable right there.
Tenfold. Think about that. Think about the disproportion of that. And in politics, it's pretty close.
So he's telling you that Jews are disproportionately, wildly overrepresented with Jewish money in politics. And why did they put that money in politics? To control it.
Charitable donations? What charitable donations? Cars for kids?
Pagers?
Free pagers.
Again, if I said this, it would be anti-Semitic.
I'm sorry, but if the joke went over your head, Israel did like a exploding pager operation to Hezbollah. So that's where the joke come from. And you remember when they gave like a golden pager to Trump? It also symbolizes the success of that mission. Shout out to my man Mountain Man Axis. He's pretty much saying not all Jews worship Baal. No, yeah, not all Jews worship Baal or do satanic rituals and all this good stuff like sacrificing cows and burning it to ashes to bring about, the Antichrist and all that wild stuff. Not all of them do that. Actually, it's really a small group, of them, but a small group hold a lot of power, sadly.
If I said
I wouldn't say
Jews make up 2% of the population, they make up 20% of the political spending.
Damn,
with their Jewish money. If I said that,
yeah.
I would be canceled.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like what I was saying earlier. It's like, bro, you gotta love is they just say it. They just say it out loud from like, bro, just regular Jewish people, Israelis, even their media. They say what honestly. Bro, they literally say what other people get called anti-Semitic for saying. Like if that whole story about Palestinians getting raped in Israeli prisons came out from the Haaretz or the Times of Israel, it'd have been all good. But since it came from American media, it's all bad. So that's just the problem. They can say whatever the hell they want, but we got to watch our words, especially when it comes to them.
Down my channel and everything because I'm an anti-Semite. That's what they would say. He's saying it.
It's because only Nazis and Zionists conflate Judaism with this horseshit.
That's exactly right.
Jews make up 20% of the charitable contributions made in the United States annually. That is a tenfold. Think about that. Think about the disproportion of that. And in politics, it's pretty close also. And if that money isn't used, why do people give money? Because they want to influence elections to get people elected who reflect their views. Well,
so 2% of the population takes 20% of all political spending to control the politics.
Yep.
In favor of who? Americans? Jews?
No.
Israel. That's what he's saying.
And here's the thing, if they actually cared about what Americans thought, they wouldn't be pouring their money into it. They'd actually let the people decide who should be their leader, instead of just dumping millions of dollars into an election so they can get the best pro-Israel guy they can get. If they truly cared about our democracy, if they truly cared about the American people, they wouldn't be trying to massively buy out these elections, like honestly.
And then, the evidence is Trump didn't do he let you no tax on tips. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
This is an existential issue for Jews. And the Jews.
And by the way, look at the faces of the people. Look at the faces of the people sitting there like, and they're not interrupting him for a second. Like, okay, everybody ixnay on the UJ.
Because they know if I say something, it's going to look really extra worse than it looks now. So they have to sit there and look at this chick. Look at this chick here who's like staring into him. They both are, but this one's like, "Are you kidding me?
You're doing the thing that we're not supposed to do. You're telling the truth. It's this quiet part. We're on a Zoom. You're not supposed to say. You're supposed to say this in secret.
Oh, by the way, those rich Jews he's bragging about controlling all the thing. You know how they treat the regular Jews? Like absolute shit. They're extremely racist and classist. Did you know that?
To get people elected who reflect their views. Well, this is an existential issue for Jews. And the Jews who explicitly give money because they want to make it clear to anti-Semitic candidates that they are going to have to go through a buzzsaw and that they are not going to simply waltz in.
Let me translate that for you. Anti-Semitic candidates mean that any candidate that just don't agree with sending money and weapons to Israel. Not that they hate Israel, not that they want all Jewish people gone. No, that they just don't believe in funding Israel and its endeavors. That's it. That's all. And they spend millions of dollars into getting people who will give that yes vote to Israel. So F what the American people want in that area, bro. F what they're talking about. We need another vote for Israel.
And be, if they're treated with kid gloves by the New York Times, we are double time going to do what we can to expose who they are, to find out what we can find out about them that will harm them, and that we will do what we can to.
You're going to do what you can to find out what you can to harm them?
Yo,
really?
That's a bit vicious, dog. Like, yo, if you heard somebody say that, like, yeah, we're going to do whatever we can to hurt them personally and find out whatever we need to, you're just looking at them like, damn! Like, yo, bro, is that serious? Like, they're just being critical of Israel. Yes, they have to be destroyed, and we must destroy them politically and their social life. This is gonna make people get anti-Semitic. You know that, and they just don't hear it.
Like what? Like finding out they're on the Epstein Island flight list? You mean that should be a deal breaker, shouldn't it? Right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Prevent them from will harm them, and that we will do what we can to prevent them from taking office. What other choice does American Jewry have?
How about live your own moral principles you supposedly have, you scumbag?
Damn.
I mean, I thought you studied Torah. You don't follow it? It tells you not to do this kind of shit.
Let me play it without stopping it if I can, because you have to hear it in its.
What else can we do besides every stereotype? That's the only way. Unreal. John Pudhurst. What a great name.
I think it is a good thing if Massey and the people like him and others believe that if you cross the line into anti-Semitism, Jews are going to use the power that we.
AKA, if you dare ever vote against Israel in your entire political career, rich Jews will use their power, use their dollars to get you out of office. I mean, what democracy do we have at that point?
Have openly to go for you, because what other recourse?
And let's remember what he's considering anti-Semitism by Thomas Massey. Anti-Semitism is, I don't think we should fund a genocide. I don't think we should fund Israel. I think we should have the Epstein list exposed. That's what he's calling anti-Semitism.
That's how you know Israel's guilty, because it's anti-Semitism to expose the Epstein thing. That's how you know Israel's guilty. Right there.
Right there.
Is there? Are we just going to sit here and take it, beg for scraps, hope that nice people are nice to us? The Democratic.
I mean, you can change our ways in the Middle East. That would change people's sentiment towards Israel. Instead of just trying to buy out politicians, that's what's going to make it worse. And then y'all doing it in our face. It ain't you saying it out loud. So you think you're making it any better? And then you got this vicious tone to it.
Party is going explicitly anti-Semitic. We can see it happening. People are getting benefits, as Seth says, for being anti-Semites. That seems to be part of an appeal in primaries to the left and the party. We have to use what means there are at our disposal. And in my view, and I'm going to put it blank, that is Jewish money. There is an enormous amount of Jewish money in politics, by which I mean Jewish donors, wildly disproportionate, not only charitably, but politically. Okay. When I say charitably, I mean nobody really knows the numbers. Jews make up 2% of the population. According to some studies, Jews make up 20% of the charitable contributions made in the United States annually. That is a tenfold. Think about that. Think about the disproportion of that. And in politics, it's pretty close also. And if that money isn't used, why do people give money? Because they want to influence elections to get people elected who reflect their views. Well, this is an existential issue for Jews. And the Jews who explicitly give money because they want to make it clear to anti-Semitic candidates that they are going to have to go through a buzzsaw and that they are not going to simply waltz in and be, if they're treated with kid gloves by the New York Times, we are double time going to do what we can to expose who they are, to find out what we can find out about them that will harm them, and that we will do what we can to prevent them from taking office. What other choice does American Jewry have?
Oi!
I don't know.
I don't want any trouble.
I mean, what is
done it again? You dirty bastard! You've done it again.
Unreal, dude. All the people sitting there who I assume agree with him must be sickened. I mean, if their faces, they look sickened.
They look sickened.
Yeah.
Here's what Glenn Greenwald, Jew, has to say about it. He said, it's always like this. Israel loyalists explicitly threaten U.S. politicians with destruction if they don't support Israel because, as Norm Podhoretz, Nepo baby, or Lucky Boy, as Keaton and Gruss say, Lucky Boy says here, there's an enormous amount of Jewish money in politics. But if you say it, you're an anti-Semite.
And that's the problem. It's like, bro, like people say, well, where do you get this from, Seth? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean that Israel just buying our elections, or the pro-Israel lobbyists are just buying our elections? I'm like, bro, I'm not just pulling this out my ass. Actually, I'm just listening to them tell it to us explicitly. Like, they're not even holding back. You just got to look.
By the way, here's another tweet from John Podhoretz. Trump bombed Iran. He can say Shylock 100 times a day forever, as far as I'm concerned.
Damn.
Wait, but I'm doing a Shakespeare play playing Shylock. Can I not say?
You remember this? You remember when this was Norm? Was his name Norm? The Masters of the Universe.